Alright, chapter 3, lesson 3, percent proportions. So, our central question for today, what is the percent proportion and how do I use it? And then really the explanation part here is just a reminder that anytime you have percents, if you write it as a ratio, you write it over 100, and then what every one of your proportions is going to look like. So if it's a word problem, you're comparing part to whole equals some percent over 100. Or if it's just real simple, you look for the words is and of, where is represents the part and of represents the whole thing. And we still have percent over 100. Okay? Let's take a minute, write it down. Hello. Alright, so let's answer a couple. So first one, what percent of 30 is 20? Okay, so we started off. I hope I did this right because I don't have the copy of the notes. So let's pray I don't make any mistakes. So part to whole, that's always going to be our key. Okay, and then we said look for is and of. And we're always going to have numbers on one side, percents on the other. Okay, and the whole percent will always be 100. That's a given. You can always put it on the bottom right there. So then we look at the way it's written. So if I see of 30, I know that's talking about the whole thing. So the whole thing is 30. And then it says is 20, right? So is the part. That's going to go up top. It's a number. It's going to go on the left side. And then the question, ran out of colors pretty quickly here. The question says what percent? So the question is asking us to solve for a percent. So this is our missing number. Okay. And from here, this is just solving proportions. It's just cross multiply and divide. So the only new part is setting up the proportion. Everything else we've done before. So we have 20 times 100. Which is 2,000. And then we divide that by whatever number we just multiplied by, or got when we multiplied. So 2,000 divided by 30. It's not a great number. This is going to be repeating. That's okay. 20. So 30 goes into 200 6 times. So that's 180. And then this just repeats. So we can say this is going to be 66 and then 6 repeating. But since we don't want to put 3 6s in a row because, oh my goodness, we'll get a bunch of upset children. So let's say instead of 6 repeating, that is 2/3. So what percent of 30 is 20? We can say it's 66 2/3%. What was Miss Geyer thinking when she gave us this example? Oh, I'm blowing up. Got a Snapchat from, oh, it's from Miss Geyer.
You actually got several messages.
I got several messages?
Not on Snapchat, but I think your text.
She's texting me too? I'm blowing up.
Not just messages.
Okay, well, let me look.
Okay.
My nerds are asking, oh, is this due today? Whoops. Don't tell Geyer I'm doing it like right now or in the past because you're probably not hanging out with her right now. She should be watching though. If she's not subscribed, then we're fighting. Alright, example 2. Man, I'm all thrown off. Yes, we're doing this. 12 is 80% of what number? Okay, so again, same idea. So it's part to whole. are is and of, numbers on one side, percents on the other. Okay. 100% is always the whole thing. And then this one, it's even easier when it tells you the percent, because if it gives you a percent, there's only one place this can go. And it has to be on top, because you always have 100 as the whole. But if you look, it also says is 80%, which is the part. And then it says of what number. It's another good tip off. So of what number means we're missing the whole thing. So we have purple. It's a different purple than before. So I guess we can say 12 is, and that's our partial number. So it's going to go on top. So again, it's just part to whole, numbers on the left, percents on the right, and then we can cross multiply. Okay. So 12 times 100, or 100 times 12. Also, hopefully we get good at this and we don't have to keep writing down 100 times something. This is just 1200, literally 12 hundreds, divided by the number we didn't just multiply. So 80 goes into not 1, not 12, but 120 one time. And then this is going to be nice and round number. 80 goes into 400 5 times. Okay. So what number is 80%? No, I can't say this backwards. 12 is 80% of what number? That number is 15. So x equals 15. Okay. So if they just give you this, there's no context behind it. You just look for the words is, you look for the words of. Okay. But what if they give you word problems? So you say, suppose there are 20 questions on a multiple choice test. Okay. If 20% of the questions are choice B, how many questions are not choice B? Okay. So in this case, we still have part to whole. Only now it's a word problem, so part and whole represent stuff. So the part we're talking about is answer B, right? Choice B. And the whole thing is just the questions. Okay. Still have a proportion. Still numbers on one side, percent on the other. Still 100% is the whole thing. And then we just look, what does it tell us? So it says there are 20 questions. So it doesn't say there are 20 questions that are answer B, but just 20 questions. So that has to be the whole thing. So it's going to be 20 down here. Okay. Then it tells us 25% of the questions are choice B. So what percent is B? 25. Okay. So then we can solve for, and this will tell us how many are B. And I know this says how many are not, and we're going to go back at the end and we can sort this part out. But here's a proportion that we can solve. Cross multiply here. I'll keep writing it just in case people don't know why I keep circling these numbers. And divide. So 25 times 20. So this is 0, 0. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. I feel like I'm rushing now because Geyer's getting ready to yell at me and she's sending me angry Snapchat messages. Okay, so 25 times 20 is 500. Divided by 100. It's actually really easy. Hopefully. 500 divided by 100 is 5. So 5, not X, 5 questions are answer B. But then we say, it wants to know how many are not B. Okay, so if we have 20 questions total, if 5 of them are B, just getting me hungry for sandwiches. Get it? Arby's. They've got the beef. All right, what are we doing? 20 minus 5. 20 total questions minus the 5 that are B leaves us with 15 questions that are not choice B, to answer it just the way the question asks us. So the actual answer is 15. Okay. So sometimes we still use the proportion, but sometimes we have to do math after the fact. And you have to be careful, because a lot of people, they'll do the proportion, they'll get 5, and they'll be like, boy, I did it, I'm happy, this is my answer. And they forget to actually answer what they're being asked to answer. So don't make that mistake. Or, it's another way we can look at it, and we'll do that with our last question here. Because this is sort of the same idea. It says Jody's paid 62% of her $500 loan. How much does she still need to pay? What if it was division? What do you mean, what if it was division? So Jody's paying her loan. So we can say, the question is, how much does she need to pay? So let's say our part is, or let's write part to whole first. Take this one step at a time. So let's say the part we care about is what she needs to pay. And the whole thing is her full loan. Okay. Write our proportion. Numbers on the left, percents on the right. This is 100% here. So what we did differently, because it tells us 62%, right? That's the percent given, but that says what she has paid, which is different from what it asks us for, which is how much does she need to pay. So what if instead of subtracting at the end, what if we did it at the beginning? So if we say she needs to pay 100%, so how much is there left for her to pay? So what if it was 100% minus 62? This is what she has paid, which leaves behind 38% that she still needs to pay. And since that's what we care about, we can put that up here. Okay. If we had put 62, we could still get the same answer, but then it would be like this one here, where after we solved it, then we had to subtract to get our final answer. So we're just switching the order around. Okay, so let's fill in the rest. So it says her $500 loan. So that's the whole thing. The total amount she has to pay is $500. And we want to know how much of that does she still have to pay. Okay. So then if we cross multiply here, so we're still, every time, if you have a proportion, you're always going to solve it. Cross multiply, then divide. So 500 times 38, so that's going to be 0, 0, 40, bring down the 0, 0, 0, 15. So that is 19,000 divided by the number we didn't just multiply, which is 100. So what's really nice about these is that we're either going to multiply or divide by 100 every time. Multiplying or dividing by 100 is not so bad, especially when we have zeros we can cross out. Okay. So if we say 190 divided by 1 is just 190. So how much does she have left to pay? She still has to pay $190. So notice this way, since we subtracted at the beginning, once we solve the proportion, we've already got the answer that we wanted. We don't have to do anything after the proportion is over. So sometimes with these word problems, you have to decide, do I want to do the proportion, then extra work, or do I want to do extra work and then proportions? Okay, and That's it. So make sure to put your questions over here. Make sure to put a summary down at the bottom. Make sure to go to the book, find some more problems. You could even write your own for these. Percents are all over the place. Okay. Good night. And then, if you're still here, what we can do, just to show that this works, just for goofs, you don't have to write this down. What if we'd written this like the way it asks us to? So we could say our part is what she paid compared to her loan, right? And then numbers, percents. So this time we can say she paid 62%. So let's put 62 up there. This is still 500. Okay, X on top. So we can cross multiply these. So 500 times 62. That's 0, 0, 10, 0, 0, 0, 30. So we get 31,000. What if what was negative? Where are you getting these questions from? You mean if the percents were negative? Because percents cannot be negative. That's just like a thing. Percents are always positive. So 31,000 divided by 100. And still cross these out. So that gives us $310. No negative percents. Percents will always be positive. So in this case, $310 that she's paid already. So then if the question is how much does she have left to pay, you'd have to say the whole loan minus the part she paid is the part remaining, which, go figure, does get you $190 left to pay. So again, you get the same thing. Either way, it's just a matter of do you want to subtract at the beginning or do you want to subtract at the end? And the questions won't always be that difficult. Like this could just as well say Jody still has to pay 38% of her loan. How much does she still need to pay? Then there's no extra steps. But sometimes, and then this was the same thing. Gar's just giving us hard questions, where the information it gives us is the opposite part of what we actually care about. Okie dokie. Any other questions? Are we good? Can we go take our nap? How many? There are 4 examples. 2 easy ones. And then the one about question B, or answer B. And then our loan question. And then there's plenty more at school at some point. When will we have our test? Probably a while from now. Because we got to do this, all this proportion stuff. And then we got to talk about tax and tips and then percent of change. So it'll probably not be till the end of next week. Until there's another test. Probably. I don't know. I could be wrong. We could have a test tomorrow. Okie dokie. You subbed. How come you made this later? Because I got lazy and I was eating pizza. Oh, I gotta text Gar back. Yes. Finishing the notes now. It's not even, oh, it is late. It's like 7 o'clock. Whoops. It's because I was at Steam night. Yeah. Why are you there? Oh, she texted me back immediately. I don't think Miss Geyer has very many friends. She's just hanging out by her phone all day. Alright, so there's no more questions. Everyone was good on the homework from today. And I am getting bored. Something good on Snapchat. Alright, I'm calling it. Good luck, everyone.